Worryingly so, sir. Brigadier Vijay Sagar, a few of our soldiers are still missing.
हमारी आर्मी एक प्रोफेशनल आर्मी है।
पर इंडिया के साथ जो लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल है वो जानबूझकर नहीं समझाना चाहता।
आप जो सरकार को जिस तरह से घेरना चाहते हैं घेरिए, और इसके खत्म होने के बाद
टेररिज्म, क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म, ये सब नहीं चलने वाला।
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मुद्दों पर आपकी पकड़ भी हो कुछ ऐसी जो करे आपको और लोगों से अलग। तो ब्रिगेडियर डॉक्टर विजय सागर धीमान को YouTube, Facebook, Twitter पर फॉलो करना ना भूलें।
Hello viewers, welcome to our YouTube channel Brigadier Guides You on the portals of VR1. Well, this particular series of videos on Gilgit-Baltistan is being presented to you courtesy International Institute of J&K Studies and Analysis, that is IJSA. So far in this series on Gilgit-Baltistan, in last video, we tried to tell you as to how the British were conspiring right from the middle of 19th century till 1947 for various strategic reasons, and what all conspiracies, what all actions they took against Maharaja or against the local population to make sure that this region remains under their control. But what happened was, once Indian Independence Act was signed and the date of Indian independence was selected as 15th of August 1947, and Kashmir being a Muslim majority state, the British were very confident that the Maharaja of Jammu and Kashmir would automatically accede to Pakistan. And they even tried to coerce him also to do that. And with this, they were sure that if Gilgit-Baltistan is part of J&K, it automatically goes to Pakistan. But so in that case, what they did, that they terminated their 60-year lease, which started in 1935, and they terminated the lease on 1st of August 1947 and handed over the control of Gilgit-Baltistan back to Maharaja. And this they did with a pure belief, as I'm repeating, they were fully convinced that as per the Indian Independence Act of 1947, Maharaja, being a Muslim majority state, would accede to Pakistan. But unfortunately, that was not to be. But then British, as they were ready for this contingency as well. And moment they got the idea that Maharaja is not going to toe their line, and Maharaja is not going to sign instrument of accession to be a part of Pakistan. So they had an alternative plan, a contingency plan already in position, and that was Operation Datta Khel. Like you all know, that Operation Gulmarg was used to annex Jammu and Kashmir and make it join Pakistan. Similarly, Operation Datta Khel was executed by Captain Mirza Hasan Khan on behest of Major William Brown, who was a British officer who was specially posted there for this particular purpose, to make sure that the Gilgit-Baltistan becomes part of Pakistan, as Maharaja was not ready to join Pakistan. So let's see how the final annexation of Gilgit-Baltistan happened. First, let's review what was the situation as on 1st August 1947. On 1st of August 1947, the Governor Brigadier Ghansara Singh, along with Major General Scott, had flown in Gilgit on 31st July 1947. The control of administration in the region was handed over to Brigadier Ghansara Singh by Lieutenant Colonel Beacon, who was the British political agent till now. At this time, all the British officers who had opted for Pakistan and the civilian officers in the administration had left Gilgit, and the administration was virtually headless. The replacements, though they had been announced by Maharaja, but had not reported as yet. And the Governor, Brigadier Ghansara Singh, had the Gilgit Scouts Battalion under the command of Major William Brown, with Captain Matson as his 2IC. He also had about 500 troops recruited from different principalities in and around Gilgit Agency. The Governor also had a company of 5 Jammu and Kashmir infantry under Captain Durga Singh at his disposal, located at Bunji, approximately 55 kilometers away from Gilgit. Immediately on taking over, the Governor, Brigadier Ghansara Singh, received a delegation led by the Subadar Major of the Gilgit Scouts, a Muslim unit, and the demands submitted by them were totally apolitical. They requested for better pay, pension, and gratuity related issues. Similarly, the civilian staff that did not belong to Gilgit too had put up such demands which were administrative in nature. They contended a pen-down strike till their demands were met. At this time, the stocks in the stores, the supplies in the stores were empty, and the winters were approaching. and the logistics and other supplies were not expected, as all communication, whether they were rail or road, had been paralyzed. This is because all roads from Srinagar to Gilgit, barring one kacha inhospitable track, were all via Punjab, which was in the grips of riots and communal frenzy. So hopes of replenishment to this particular region were diminishing. And in this kind of a scenario, the news of bloodshed, the news of Hindu-Muslim riots, and an uncertain political and communal situation, and along with the prevailing administrative situation in this region, had created a sanctuary which Major William Brown, the acting commandant of Gilgit Scouts, could easily exploit. He too had the services of Captain Mirza Hasan Khan of 6th Jammu and Kashmir Infantry, who had reached Gilgit on 10 September 1947 on a punishment posting. Captain Mirza Hasan Khan assisted him in achieving the strategic objective of getting the region to Pakistan for subsequent use by British whenever needed. Well, there was a totally inadequate response on this from Government of J&K or Government of India. How? We'll see. Well, Brigadier Ghansara Singh apprised the same to Major General Scott and requested him to carry his message to Maharaja Hari Singh for replenishment and resources. Well, Major General Scott flew back to Srinagar with the charter of demands to be presented to Maharaja for resolution. However, it appears that Maharaja Hari Singh or his administration was too preoccupied and was totally in the grip of the dynamic situation in relation to J&K accession to India at that particular time. They had no time to address the situation in Gilgit-Baltistan. Well, even no one in the rest of India or Indian government at that time appreciated the importance of this region. No known evidence presented makes us believe that Indian leadership was even aware of the strategic implications of this region for independent India. It could also be a carefully crafted design of the British to ensure that in this euphoria of transfer of power, Indian leaders were lulled into complacency by a planned counter-narrative which was put into place by the British. Well, today some analysts do call this as first Himalayan blunder of 1947 in Gilgit-Baltistan, ahead of the known second Himalayan blunder in 1962 in Tibet, China. They argue even if the road communications were poor and the situation could have been salvaged by creating an air bridge with whatever number of aircrafts were available at that time. That would have resulted in Gilgit-Baltistan being part of the present-day Jammu and Kashmir in Indian control today. Well, now we'll see how the subversion of state forces by the Muslims took place, the Muslim officers in the state forces. Well, the governor, Brigadier Ghansara Singh, was literally a helpless entity for next few months. He had no choice but to rely on seemingly innocent Major William Brown, who was stationed there by the British as a part of a definite plan, that is Operation Datta Khel. He also had to rely on Captain Mirza Hasan Khan, who was on a punishment posting from 4th Jammu and Kashmir Infantry to 6th Jammu and Kashmir Infantry due to his failed attempt in mutiny that he started after Second World War. Captain Mirza Hasan Khan was a decorated soldier, and in World War II, as part of 4th Jammu and Kashmir Infantry, was awarded Military Cross. However, on issues of India-Pakistan, of Hindu-Muslim issues, his views were totally radical. It is also said that he even had a meeting with Muhammad Ali Jinnah at Bombay just before independence. And then he went on to organize a military revolutionary council against the Maharaja with the help of some Muslim officers in Jammu and Kashmir state forces. This conspiracy got exposed, and unfortunately a decision was taken not to flame this issue of this mutiny on religious grounds, as it had the potential for conflagration amongst the ranks of Jammu and Kashmir infantry forces. But British were quick enough to realize the potential of Captain Mirza Hasan Khan to perpetuate their conspiracy in Gilgit-Baltistan. As a result, Major General Scott, as Chief of Staff Jammu and Kashmir State Forces, convinced Maharaja to send him on a punishment posting to 6th Jammu and Kashmir Infantry located at Nowshera Company, which is being shifted to Bunji, to a god-forsaken place approximately 55 kilometers from Gilgit, to replace the troops of 4th Jammu and Kashmir Infantry. He reached Bunji on 10th of September 1947. This may appear to be a routine punishment posting in the army, but this was a part of a well thought out plan to use an officer with the known communal mindset to subvert the entire administration, the entire population, thereby creating fear psychosis in the minds of all the civilian population as well. Major General Brown, assisted by Captain Mirza Hassan Khan, brainwashed a large number of Muslim officers and the Muslim men of Gilgit Scouts and 6th Jammu and Kashmir Infantry Battalion on religious oath. Once the plot was exposed, the entire 6th Jammu and Kashmir Infantry under Lieutenant Colonel Majid Khan was moved to Burji to support Brigadier Gansara Singh against any such misadventures. The move could be possible as the Major General Scott had left for England and the command of Jammu and Kashmir State Forces was with the Dogra officer Brigadier Rajinder Singh MVC. But alas, this was too little, too late, as the British plan had already succeeded. Well, troops were still loyal to Maharaja, administration was still loyal to Maharaja, and the troops of Gilgit Scouts were totally apolitical, and because they belonged to different principalities and who were still loyal to Maharaja. Similarly, there were at least two companies of Sikhs and Dogras in 6th Jammu and Kashmir Infantry which had moved from Nowshera. So most of the Mirs and the Rajas of the principalities were still loyal to Maharaja. So question of indigenous rebellion does not occur here at all. The administrative and logistic distress coupled with the rumor mongering about the political situation in the country was fully exploited by Major General Brown, assisted by Captain Mirza Hassan Khan, to perpetuate religious indoctrination to subvert the population. All this instilled fears amongst the non-Muslims and they approached the governor for help. Brigadier Gansara Singh allayed their fears and convinced them not to be against the Muslim brethren, because he said that these people have been loyal to the state since ages and they have been with us during the World Wars I and II. So there's no question of being disloyal. But then the final annexation had to take place. And how did it happen? Brigadier Gansara Singh reposed full faith in his troops in Gilgit Scouts and kept Lieutenant Colonel Abdul Majid Khan, CO 6 Jammu and Kashmir Infantry, in loop. But the situation, as crafted and mentored by Major William Brown, had reached its final stages. Finally, on 1st of November 1947, Brigadier Gansara Singh was imprisoned, and on 4th November 1947, Pakistani flag was hoisted at Gilgit. Immediately, a provincial government called People's Republic of Gilgit-Baltistan was set up to make the entire exercise look like an indigenous movement on religious grounds against Maharaja and in favor of Pakistan. Well, this gets confirmed due to the fact that none of the local Rajas or Means who were still loyal to Maharaja was part of this government. And then this was followed by the massacre of non-Muslim in a big way. All Hindus and Sikhs, whether soldiers or civilians, were fully decimated. But unfortunately, as per the plan of Captain Khan, the government was to last only for 16 days. Thereafter, they were all replaced by the members of people from Pakistan. They all were representative of Pakistan state. And the locals were told this is being done because they did not have the experience for governance. Finally, he informed this accomplishment of his mission to the governor of Northwest Frontier Province, Sir George Cunningham, and declared Gilgit-Baltistan as part of Pakistan. Ever since, Pakistan has been exploiting this region, and now it has virtually handed over the reins of this region to China for CPEC, that is China-Pakistan Economic Project, wherein this region is being plundered for the rich minerals and electricity potential, and the locals are being devoid even of their proper habitat. Well friends, this is how Gilgit-Baltistan became part of Pakistan after independence and was cut off from the control of the government of Jammu and Kashmir. Now in the next episode, we will see what exactly Pakistan has done with this particular region, how it has exploited the region, marginalized the people from Gilgit-Baltistan for next 72 years, till it handed over the control of this region to China for its CPEC project. So see you then. We'll see you in the next episode. So viewers, till then, keep watching Brigadier Guides You channel on YouTube, which is on VR1 platform, and this is courtesy International Institute of J&K Studies and Analysis, ITSA. So ITSA is committed to give you all the facts and figures, all the true facts about Jammu and Kashmir, whether they went past or it is happening today, or what the locals feel and aspire for their future. So for that, please remain logged on to all the programs on this channel by ITSA, that is International Institute of Jammu and Kashmir Studies and Analysis. So thank you very much for listening to it. So till we come next time, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Worryingly so, sir. Brigadier Vijay Sagar, a few of our soldiers are still missing.
हमारी आर्मी एक प्रोफेशनल आर्मी है।
पर इंडिया के साथ जो लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल है वो जानबूझ कर नहीं समझाना चाहता।
आप जो सरकार को जिस तरह से घेरना चाहते हैं घेरिए, मगर इसके खत्म होने के बाद
टेररिज्म, क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म, ये सब नहीं चलने वाला।
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मुद्दों पर आपकी पकड़ भी हो कुछ ऐसी, जो करे आपको और लोगों से अलग। तो ब्रिगेडियर डॉक्टर विजय सागर धीमान को YouTube, Facebook, Twitter पर फॉलो करना ना भूलें।